Okay, I have a question for you. Do you know what a conversion value cost is for your Google Ads campaign? If you run ads, that's a very important number to figure it out. And if you don't have enough data, or if you don't have any data flow correctly going into your Google Ads, you're never going to find out that, and you're never going to find out how much each dollar you spend on Google Ads is bringing in revenue. And today I'm going to explain what we did for this client's account. Basically starting over here in this conversion value right there. This is the conversion value for the last 2 weeks, and Google Analytics and Google Ads are linked, but reporting might be a little bit delayed. And then I want you to see this conversion value cost included projected. This is probably more towards this number, 47.50. It's what we're looking at for the past 2 weeks. This is a very new setup, and I'm going to show you here what we're looking at. So looking at the last 14 days is when actually we started sending data and sending conversion value into this account. Now we can actually run some math and know how much, how many dollars or how much value we're getting out of every single dollar we spend on Google. And why is this important? Well, it's like switching on the light on your room. And before, you used to hear noises, hear people, they were touching stuff, they were leaving money on the table. They were grabbing stuff from your room, they were buying stuff from your room, they're leaving money on the table, but you didn't know how much they were leaving on the table. You didn't know which items they were actually purchasing, which items were actually bringing more revenue. You just knew that something was happening there. Now, with data coming in this ad account, now you know exactly not the person's face, but because we have privacies and this is all done through best practices for privacy standards, especially nowadays. But you at least see that somebody touched a shirt. And if that shirt, you could even see the color of that shirt, how much that shirt was priced at. And then if that person bought that shirt, you know exactly how much he put it on the table for you. If that customer came through the click of an ad, that's what we're talking about. So if we go back here, let's say before we set up this system, let's go to December 25th. Let's apply that. We can see that there's no value, there's no conversion value, there's no way to report on this account. The only conversion value that was coming was probably a default $1 per conversion. There were conversions. We have 14 conversions for that month. Probably also because this account wasn't reporting, or the setup was not correct on accounting for those conversions. So that's the most important thing, and it was not actually computing that. So we went ahead and fixed that data flow. And this campaign here wasn't performing at all. We identified a few issues, and then we set a measurement protocol API that is sending data straight from the website, straight from the client's website front end to Google Analytics. So they are both communicating directly without the necessity of depending on a browser. Why do we want to do that nowadays? Because Google changed the game on cookies. Everybody kind of already heard that, but if you didn't, basically they are blocking cookies that are third party and that depend on the browser computing, basically. So now you are relying only on the solution is to rely on your first party data. And the first party data, meaning you have the responsibility to capture consent, pass that on to Google Analytics as, hey, this user consented that we track his actions on the website. And then Google start computing that those actions, those events, back into analytics and then back into Google Ads. So before that, this client was kind of shooting in the dark. It was, the lights were off in his room, in his business. But then just 2 weeks back, if we go 14 days, we can see a much different scenario, right? We can see the conversion value cost, including projected, is $47.50. We can see now that each campaign, it's bringing a cost for the campaign, right? We can see conversions being tracked. They are fractioned because it could be that this campaign bleed into this campaign, so the users might be overlaying here. So it kind of tries to assign to both campaigns. That's why you see fraction conversions here. We can see that we have a cost for the conversion, a cost for each conversion. They differ a lot, but we are still reading the data from each campaign, so it's too soon to come here and start tweaking. And the only thing we did on the Performance Max 2026 here for the sales is that we assign more cities that were missing for this business. We're talking about a business that have multiple cities, multiple states, activities. It's a recreational camp events, and we had to add, like we just recently add more cities. So then this ad here start performing. It has a much higher cost per conversion, but it's still good. Still performing really well. This other one is extremely well, but we're still testing the data to see if this is a true number. But right now, what I want you to pay attention to is this total, the conversion value here. We have this total conversion value of 32 and 37.45 cents, with an average cost per conversion of 5.37, which is pretty good. And then the total average cost for both campaigns are 115 and 26 so far. This is just 2 weeks, and then we haven't done any optimization besides just adding more cities to this campaign. Again, because we want to see the data. And then this is one of the most important numbers that you're gonna base your decisions on once you start reading these numbers, once you start seeing the data. So, which is the conversion value cost, which is right here. For the average for these two campaigns, the conversion value cost is $28.09. How do we get to that number, and what does that number mean? That number means that for each dollar you spend, you're making back $28. Okay, so it's so if you get and do a basic calculation here. Let's say this business budget is $25,000 budget. If I'm going to spend $25,000 throughout 12 months, and let's say we just keep an average at $28 per dollar spent, I know I'm going to make back $700,000 on ad spend. That's a fantastic return on investment on ad spend. And how did I get to that number? Well, because now I have the data. Now I have how much each checkout is bringing to me. Let's see another example here. On our conversion summary, we have from January 1st to January 31st, which is very recent as I recorded this video. We had just launched, on the 31st, we had just launched the new measurement protocol, which is the data flow into Google Analytics. We had 35 conversions, but only one accounted for. It's like one on that day was one click that was actually tracked, the real value for that conversion. And if we come down here, we splitted that into the main registration for camps, clinics, and one-on-ones. And then we have that one conversion being applied during that whole month, meaning we have conversions here that were being tracked, somewhat being tracked. I believe is way higher than this. But then we fixed, and then now we're starting to track a new key event, and then the values are starting to come in. You can see here there's no value. But we went even further and we split that into, we can read purchases, but we can also see what purchases is specifically segmenting by each main product as a secondary conversion. And we can see that in this date range, the 379 came from registration camps right here. All right, we also have private classes, and then we have clinics, which are, clinics are like group classes. So if we go back even, let's say December, just to get the same range, we have 14 results and $0 accounted for. There's 0. That was the old pixel right here. It's the old conversion, and we had $0 on that. Now, if we go the last 14 days, we can see that we have 21 results so far, and that is 3,200 something for the same period. If we come back down here again, you're gonna see that this primary registration here, which is our primary purchased event, we have the full amount accounted right here. We want that because we want to optimize for these ones as a whole. It helps Google understand who is your ideal client, and then we can segment for reporting on which one is driving more revenue, which is camps. But if we want to scale clinics, we can scale clinics as well, which is the group classes. We have some other types of events that we track, like begin checkout, so we can know how many of those people are clicking, and that's a pretty high intent, but that's a subject for another video. So you can see right now the amount of business value that this data brings to Google Analytics. So I hope it's a little more clear what a data-based decision is valuable for when you're investing money in ads and knowing exactly how much you're making it back. Because otherwise, something could be performing really well, like this campaign, the Camps Classics and Personal Training 2025, that is, for what we read in these 2 weeks, is bringing 82 cents, and is the cost, the conversion value cost is $142. If we do that, if we do a calculation for that, if we make $25,000 times 142, he's going to make $3 million and a half. That's a huge return on investment. And then you know that in advance. So can you imagine for your business what this can do? If you can predict really well how much you're gonna make for how much you're gonna spend in Google Ads. I think that is a game changer for whoever run ads and they never done this type of setup. And I hope this video kind of clarifies that. And if you need any help with it, we're here to help. I hope you like this video, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.